Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
All right, that was a very dope intro.
Very fresh, very funky fresh, someone
Very
might say.
funky, fresh 1980s transition to the 90s funky, fresh style intro. I hope you guys enjoyed it. These guys worked really, really hard on that intro. Right, guys? Thumbs up? Yeah?
In fact, our whole budget was spent on that intro. So this might be an abbreviated season of just 6 episodes, and then we're done.
6 episodes, we're out of here. No more budget. We got to go. Welcome to Behind the Streams, the first episode in a series where we're going to be teaching you guys a little bit more in depth of what stuff we've been doing in productions along our, our path that has led us to this beautiful place called XSplit. And,
yes. So Mondo here is our support team manager. Everything that goes on with fixing your problems and helping you out with the XSplit. My name is Lewis. I've been running our media team. So I'm the one that splurges budgets on cool graphics like this. And I go out to events and have done production. And both me and Mondo have had a very long history of doing live stream production, primarily with fighting games.
Oh, yes.
We both worked on previous EVOs, which you've seen over the past few years. And I don't know, Mondo, I mean, you're pretty much like can figure anything out, right? Once you get to mess with it a little bit.
Man, you just put it in my hands and ain't nothing I can do. I'm gifted like that. My bloodline is just a bunch of jack of all trades, and I can do the same. But yeah, me and Lewis have been doing this stuff for a very long time, since pretty much the inception of streaming when it first started blowing up and fighting in community. We've both run similar productions and events like EVO, weekly tournaments out on the West Coast. We've done majors on the East, throughout the South. So we've been a part of a lot of interesting tournaments. I myself have done a few Microsoft productions as well along the way. They were a lot more complex, and you will get to a lot of that stuff later on as the episodes develop. You guys will get a lot more in-depth information, as far as what we've been able to accomplish with the software and some of the hardware that we've been using. So yeah, we've been around. We're old farts now. We've only been doing this for how many years?
I don't know, 7 years for me now. Probably longer if I think about all the other audio stuff I did before that.
Yeah, so we're considered old people now. Like, I got cataracts. This guy's getting, a limp in his right leg.
I mean, you can't see it, but these glasses are about like this thick. So, they're basically binoculars.
Yeah, he's got those fancy Urkel glasses. It's all good. But, we still keep on trucking along. So, yeah, hopefully we can bring that knowledge to you guys. And, yeah, man, it'll help you guys out, improve your guys' production at home or out and about, so wherever you guys are at, and hopefully this information will be very useful to you guys.
So just to kind of give you an idea of the way this show is going to go, for now the show's probably going to be monthly. As topics come along, we might do a little bit more frequently, but the cool thing with this is that if you use the hashtag BTSXSplit, which is behind the stream XSplit, we can kind of collect those questions. You may win some prizes. Some people we ran a little bit of a contest, and we'll be answering some questions later.
Yeah.
You can win some cool stuff like XSplit licenses, maybe something else in the future. But the way we're going to do it is we're going to have one episode doing something really in-depth, like microphones. We're doing this episode, and then we're going to have another episode for the beginners, right? So some people who don't know what a bitrate is, or don't know how to set up a scene, or what even a scene is, just kind of to mix it up, to give both the amateurs and the experts some opportunity to learn from this.
So we're going to gradually take you from like baby steps all the way up to really more complex things that you can do from a production standpoint, right? So it'll start off really slow, but gradually the goal is to help for us to improve your knowledge of streaming, whether you're just doing it at home, in the closet, in the kitchen, IRL streams, whatever you want to do, right? You can find some of this stuff useful and possibly upgrade your stream as well in the process.
So for this episode, we're gonna basically be talking to you about microphones, and specifically how to pick the right microphone for you based on if you're starting as a beginner, you don't have money, you just want to start with whatever you have, all the way up to professional high-end esports equipment. So we're gonna go over all that. The first thing we're gonna actually cover is just a little bit of microphone basics.
Yeah, so we'll take you from that, low budget, $2.50 or even 99-cent store microphone, all the way to the max CPM, rolling in that YouTube money, expensive microphone still.
So yeah, first let's start off with some microphone basics. The first thing is knowing how to basically get your microphone working. And one of the things you might need to know is, let's say you just bought a brand new microphone, you plugged it in, and you're like, I can't hear myself, what's going on? Well, you probably need phantom power. So we have a mixer here. Armando actually has it right in front of him.
Well, I want to take them a little bit back before they get to this, because this is like the most intricate part of the whole. This is the most complex, intricate part of your whole audio system, and it's going to be this a mixer of your choosing, right? So I mean, at first when you're starting off, obviously you're going to be at home, you're going to be doing your streams, and you're going to be maybe possibly doing like you want to have a talk show or whatever. So we'll kind of guide you through like the first steps of PC mic, and then, you know, we'll take them from there up to XLR and what the functions of this is. So for right now, I mean, obviously a mic, you can have one on your laptop and stuff like that, really cheapy. One thing to keep in mind if you are using a laptop microphone, because it's built into your microphone, it's gonna have a lot of noise. Obviously your laptop fans, unless you have like one of these fancy Apple computers that have no fans, no moving parts, and it's just like wisping air inside or whatever to keep it cool, and that has like no noise, right? But if you're using a beefy ass laptop with like 20 fans and i7 with 25 cores, you're gonna get a lot of noise, and
Titan,
that's not,
SLI.
that's not gonna be the most optimal microphone for a stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, you can start off with the basics, just a cheapy little $5 to $10 desktop mic, and gradually work your way off to something like this. Can we show this off? This is the end. This is where you want to end up at. Something you don't have to end with this particular, because this, you look at this. I'll turn it around just so that people can see all the nice little colored knobs and levers and all this stuff that looks like, oh my God, what is this? This will change your production very drastically, because there's so much stuff that you can do with a mixer that you cannot do with software. It's almost, some of the stuff is almost damn near impossible to do with software, right? And the most important thing about a stream is always gonna be, first and foremost, your audio. Even if your video quality isn't up to snuff, as long as the people can hear you, you know, there's still a connection there. So audio is very important. Whether you start on a PC solution or you end up with the external hardware solution such as this mixer, right? So this is like, this is your go-to device right here. You could do, oh man, I want, it's so, look at this. It's so pretty, man, look, right? Oh my God. Anyways, continue. I sidetrack him, it's all right, man.
Yeah, so, I mean, the main reason why I brought up mixer is because a lot of mics need phantom power, basically. Yeah. And what that does is that some mics just need a little bit of juice. I don't know, you probably have a better technical explanation of this, Mondo.
But wait, what kind of mics are you hooking up that need this juice?
Generally speaking, you need to use your I mean, this isn't exactly the mic, right? But yes. If we can go ahead and put this one on camera here. Got tons of cables going on. But generally, you have like these condenser microphones here that basically need the phantom power. This one's actually USB, it's a blue microphone, but they generally look the same. We unfortunately don't have one in front of us here.
Yeah, the Blue Yeti Pro is the one with the XLR connection, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. But I mean, I think even that probably doesn't need phantom power.
No, it doesn't. You have to be very, like, it's phantom power. Talking about phantom power, it's not as easy as like, oh, it's phantom power, it applies more power, right? Mixers really go in depth. So it's not like you can take a desktop microphone or a microphone from your headset, the 3.5 millimeter jack, and then plug it into there with the converter. It's not going to work. Number one, phantom power is like 48 volts that you're pushing through phantom power, right? Although some of the mixers do have step down for power, but then again, it's very, very intricate because a PC or a desktop microphone only requires about 5 volts. There's some that just require like 1.2 volts, and they go all the way up to 5, and this supplies 48. So if you plug in like a really cheapy solution and you're trying to, you know, Mickey Mouse it to work, you might just fry the microphone, you might fry your headset mic. So it's always very important that when you deal with consoles, audio consoles, that you look up the information, like you look up the type of mixer that you want, what the mixer provides, and the benefits that you'll get from the mixer, right? So, and then phantom power, obviously, well, not obviously, but for the most part, what it does is it enhances, it's number one, it supplies power to the electronics inside of the microphone, and it can also enhance the audio depending on the microphone, because some mics do not require phantom power, but they do have an option to actually enable it to basically power it up a little bit more, give it a little bit more juice, and you get a slightly better range, better performance out of the microphone. So it really depends on the microphone that you're using. So just be very careful. Don't go plugging in your house desktop mic into the port and then what happened? It doesn't work anymore. You probably fried it. So be very careful.
So just to address some people in the chat that might be asking questions, a little bit later in the show, we'll actually be taking the questions. So if we aren't able to answer it right away, we might answer some of it throughout the show, but we're definitely going to take some questions from the chat, from social media at the end.
So just one real quick to add to that, I'm sorry to cut you off. Since we're kind of doing this on the fly, we have a structure, but it's behind the streams. So I'm telling you because it would make no sense if I didn't tell you like what's going on. So another option to connect a desktop mic, because you can actually do it. But what is the part called? Well, let's go to the chat. Maybe somebody had pointed out. There is a converter that will supply power. I think it's like 1 volt or 1.3 volts to a standard microphone, but then you also have to deal with the issue that some microphones are mono and some are stereo. They have stereo pickups, so you actually have to be aware of that as well. Once I get that name, it's not in here right now. That's too much knowledge, but I'll get it eventually. Somebody in the chat can help me out.
It'll pop up.
Yeah.
So going to the next basic about microphone is basically the microphone polar patterns, or basically the pickup patterns of microphones. So there's a few different patterns. If we can just kind of pull up the first one here. So this is omnidirectional. So you see this on a lot of different mics. Namely, for example, the mics that we're in right now are lavalier mics. They're omnidirectional. A lot of standard handheld mics are omnidirectional. Even like the Blue microphones, they have settings for omnidirectional. And basically, like the image shows you, omnidirectional means that the microphone picks up audio from all around instead of just one direction. It picks up audio everywhere.
That's what omni means. It means all, man. Yeah. It's not a very complex word. It's just, omni directional. Omni, all directions, everywhere. There you go, omnidirectional. Next pattern, please, Maestro.
Well, one thing with omnidirectional. So the good use case for it, right, might be, let's say you're doing, for example, a cooking stream, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you can't be talking into the mic all over the place. You're just walking around, getting ingredients, doing stuff. So this microphone's pretty good for that use case because it's going to pick you up from wherever you are in the room.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. But let's say, for example, you're like trying to just talk with your voice, but you don't want to pick up the fan in the back or someone talking in the background. This microphone isn't going to be good for that because it's going to pick up that audio from all over the place. So not recommended if you're just trying to get your single voice.
Keep it away from the grease fire, kids.
So let's go to the next polar pattern there. I think our
Maestro.
Yeah, stream maestro.
Jeez, we showed this guy how to produce.
So bidirectional, very much like omnidirectional, pretty straightforward, pretty obvious what this is for. Just to kind of go into the use cases that this is useful for. So for example, let's say that you want to do interviews with people, but maybe you don't have the money to buy multiple microphones or mixers or want to carry all that around. You can use this bidirectional mic pattern to set in the middle of you and the person that you're interviewing, and it'll pick up both your voices audio pretty clearly. Again, the Blue microphones has this polar pattern in one of its settings, so that's generally what it's mainly used for.
Yeah. So one thing to keep note when you actually go out and look at the microphones that you potentially want to purchase is they have slight variations on the pattern. Just because it's bidirectional and you're looking at this pattern doesn't mean that they're all going to be this specific pattern. Some actually have a harder cutoff on the left and right, and they'll just have more pickup on front and left. So sometimes when you buy them, there's this little piece of paper inside that everybody throws away, which is actually useful if you open it because you'll see the pickup pattern of the actual diaphragm in there. And most people, we don't like you looking at instructions, especially dudes, right? You go out and buy something, just do it home improvement style, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's really important to always look at the information that comes with your hardware so you can get a little bit more detailed stuff out of it.
So let's go ahead and go to the next pattern. So this is cardioid. Anyway, cardioid is basically, as you can see, it captures from in front of the mic or just in one general direction. This is pretty much like the perfect mic if you're just wanting to cast games by yourself. You can set it in front of you, make sure the pattern is going to where your voice is coming out, and it'll just pick up your audio. We don't have to worry about audio in the background or other audio coming up. This is pretty much perfect if you're just by yourself and you just want to stream games and you don't want to hear a bunch of noise coming out from all over the place.
It looks like a bean, but the original meaning behind
Like
naming it
kidney
cardioid
bean?
is it was supposed to be shaped like a heart.
Oh, okay.
Because the pickup in the back is in the back of the microphone is a lot lower. So, but here it looks like a jelly bean or something.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Bubblegum flavor? But yeah, cardioid. Basically, all the pickup comes from the front, and you get very minimal background noise from behind the microphone.
Do we have another pattern here, or is that thing? Okay.
We got one more, man.
Shotgun. So shotgun mic.
Get 'em.
You see this kind of mic used in a lot of vlogging setups.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little looks like a little stick on top of a camera or something like that. But it's pretty good because it has, as you can see, it has a very narrow polar pattern. So it's really just capturing the audio exactly where you direct it or point it to. This is another good mic for, if you're trying to just capture your own voice or something like that. Generally speaking, they can be a little bit more expensive than other mics, but yeah, these are great for just picking up vocals and, again, not getting sound from too many different directions.
Yeah, it's mainly, shotgun. You're getting everything from the front.
Yeah.
So wherever you point it, that's where you're going to get it. And usually they have grills on the left and the right to actually pick up somewhat of ambient noise, but the pickup pattern on your left and right isn't so wide. So you're just
scat.
Shotgun mic. So you point it, that's where you're getting the sound from, right? And it doesn't look like a shot. If I held two, it'll kind of be like a shotgun, like a double barrel, It kind of makes sense.
I mean,
but
it's tactical. It's like,
I guess it's portable, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, basically, you're going to get the majority of your pickup from the front of the microphone, which is up here, and then obviously you're going to get ambient noise from your right and left here with little to no pickup from the back. So depending where you're at, if you're at a convention or something like that, obviously it's very loud, so you might experience some pickup from the rear of the mic. But for the most part, everything comes directly from the front. Sorry, I'm like moving it all over the place. Can we give them like a shh? And just remember, these can be quite expensive.
Yeah.
They can range anywhere from I can barely afford it to wow, that's way too much.
In fact, if Mondo drops this, we will be in severe debt on this show. Aside from blowing our whole budget on production,
If I drop this, this is the last episode.
yeah,
we
might have to be on the run after this.
Yeah, dude. They'll put I got to jump over.
I might have taken out some loans with some shady people, and but I do it for you guys for a great show.
Yeah,
great content.
And then some of these shotgun mics, actually not just the shotgun mics, but you'll have different microphones that have some sort of adjustability for the diaphragm. So you can always look out for that as well. But for the most part, shotgun, just point and click. I mean, point and turn up the game.
So our next microphone device is pop filters. Pop filters are pretty much, I think Mono has a way better description of this than me, but it's for like percussive P and S sounds, right?
Yeah, it's just when you talk using specific words that you use, they'll actually let a burst of air out, right? And that burst of air will hit the microphone or the diaphragm of the microphone and then create that thump noise that you hear, right? So pop filters are meant to divert some of that air. So when you talk and you use like B, P, T, some words like that with those specific letters, you create this burst of air that'll hit it. And without the pop filter, it's going to be very harsh. But with the pop filter, it just starts to diffuse it. And with pop filters, to be quite honest, from my experience, it doesn't really matter what pop filter you're using. You can get like the $5, $15 one, or you can sport the $50 one. They all kind of do a similar job, but there are some slight differences. So if you're just going for a very generic, pop filter, they're all pretty much the same thing. Maybe slight differences, but then you can get what's the word for that? Like metal. there's these metal pop filters that redirect the air, right? That are actually pretty good, but I think the starting price for those are somewhere between $30 to $50, and it's just a thin sheet of metal. The pattern in it is shaped in a certain way that when you speak to it, you would think the air would go straight through, but because of the pattern that's cut out into the holes, it actually drops the air straight down, letting the noise actually come through and hit the microphone without that burst of air. So yeah, pop filters, personally for me, I can't tell you like go buy this $50 one because it's the best thing ever in the world. But just get what you can afford. You don't have to have the most expensive baller pop filter made out of diamonds and pearls to get a good stream going. There are some techniques if you're like tight on a budget that you can use. And one of the more popular ones is having the microphone on one of the sides. One of the sides of your face. So basically what you're doing is, if this is the microphone and it's pointed this way, when you're talking, you actually reduce the burst of air and the microphone still picks up all your audio. Because most of the people, what they do is when they have a microphone similar to the Blue Yeti, they put the pop filter on it and they're always like this. Like, hey guys, but then the pop filter is like covering this, so you look like ninjas, like ninjas on Twitch. But in reality, you just have to put the pop filter, put it here and just leave it to the side a little bit. Most of the time you don't even have to talk directly into it. Something like the Blue Yeti is really, really good at picking up audio even through the pop filter and not having it this close to your face with the filter, looking like a ninja. So yeah, if you can't afford a pop filter, easy solution would be like mounted somewhere on the side where it's picking up the audio from your mouth, but the burst of air is going directly forward and not into the microphone. So blow it straight, not to the mic. There you go. That's a cheaper solution to do it. What else are we talking about there? Yeah, pop filters.
So the next thing before we kind of go into the different kinds of microphones is shock mounts. So very briefly, basically shock mounts help with eliminating vibration from the microphone. So for example, let's say you're in somewhere with hollow floors, or maybe you have it mounted to like an unsteady pole. This shock mount will kind of help with like any vibrations or bumps appearing in the microphone audio. And they're not necessarily a necessity all the time, but just kind of a nice thing to have if you're in something like, for example, in our studio here, we have pretty hollow floors. So I guess if someone was really jumping hard, that could pop up on the microphone audio.
Because basically the diaphragm in the microphone, what it does is it picks up the vibration, right? So a lot of times when you're watching like other streamers that are out there, they'll be playing on like a mechanical keyboard and they'll be in an intense game and you'll hear them hitting those keys and then you'll hear like this little rattle and then this pop and scratch in the microphone, and that's just the microphone picking up all the vibration coming from the desk, like when they're hitting the microphone or when they're hitting the keyboard, and the vibration just goes up to that diaphragm of the mic. So most of the time what people wind up doing is they'll get a stand and then put it to the side, like an elbow stand, right? And then they'll just extend the microphone so it's not directly on the table. And those stands, they'll range from anywhere from like $20 to $40, on the low end. Maybe you can get them a little bit cheaper.
And it looks like you're having a Terminator that's about to come choke you.
But yeah, for the most part, like if you have a really, really nice microphone that you want to have on your desk next to all your equipment, then that would be a great solution, because all you do is fit the microphone in there and it absorbs all the vibration from the table, the floor, whatever's moving. So less fuss, but assuming that you have budget for that.
So now we're gonna basically jump into the main portion of our show, which is talking about the different microphone setups and what it's recommended for based on your budget or what you're trying to accomplish. So the first thing we want to talk about is basically microphones that are free or cheap, or for basically people who don't have a budget. Now, pretty much everybody kind of has that, laptop mic or just some random mic that you've had since '95 laying around. Those definitely work. But what I want to talk about is maybe a microphone that you might have overlooked or may not have known that you have that actually is pretty good. And that is the mic that comes built into your webcam. So for example, we have here a Logitech webcam.
Director, change the scene! Oh my God.
And this is a C922 most people have the C920 or even any version of the Logitech webcams. Are probably the most common webcams on the market, and these models in particular actually have a pretty decent microphone built in. And even the C922 has some pretty nifty features like noise reduction, which is supposed to help with ambient noise going on in the room. But what we want to do is basically activate this mic and have me and Mondo speak into it. And you can kind of compare the audio that we have now with these expensive lavaliers and the audio that you can get out of these Logitechs.
Wait, I got product placement, buddy. Product placement, Logitech. The future is now. Wait, that's SNK's line. We might get sued for that. Anyways, Logitech.
So I just want to show you real quick in XSplit how you can set up these microphones. So in XSplit, basically you would go into the audio settings, which is from this gear symbol here, and you would just select the Logitech headset. Pretty simple, easy to set up. But just because I want to show you how the audio sounds, we're going to do a little bit of a different setup here. So I'm just going to select the Logitech input, and we should be getting audio output now. Let me just make sure the playback device
Are we getting audio, Mr. Director?
All right, so now you should be able to hear what it sounds like when Mondo and I talk into the headset or the webcam.
There you go. Test 1, 2. Can I bust a rhyme?
Yeah, go for it.
I'll save it for another episode. I can't give them everything in the first one. You know what I'm saying? I got to keep some of this stuff for myself. But test 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Microphone check. This is the Logitech C922.
Logitech. So yes, Logitech C922. But yeah, that's how that audio sounds, and it's a microphone that you might have overlooked, and it won't cost you anything because you already bought the webcam. So yeah, definitely try that out, the microphone on your webcams.
It doesn't shock mount, so when you do like this stuff, can you hear that, Director? You can't? Oh, you cut it off already? Man, we're trying to show these people stuff and you're cutting me off in the middle of technology. What's wrong with you, man? Oh, geez, hey, what I'm working with here.
Anywho, so that's pretty much it for budget cheap microphones. Of course, you're always gonna be limited. You might not have good audio quality, like Mondo mentioned. You might have to deal with vibrations and a lot of background noise popping up. But I mean, hey, if you just want to get started, that's a good route to go. So next, we're going to talk about different microphones that you might be using if you're broadcasting PC gaming. So I think the most common microphone that you're going to use is, most of you probably, if you're gamers, you probably have gaming headsets, and that's what you're going to use first. So I mean, this isn't the greatest example of a gaming headset. Usually you have your Astros and your Corsair or HyperX, and
these look like 99-cent stores or Dollar Tree headsets.
Unfortunately, since we're in the Philippines, there is a huge call center market here, and this is pretty much all you can find in stores.
But to be honest, these are actually pretty good for the price point of the headset, right? So it's just the headphones, basic microphone. You're not gonna get the greatest sound out of it, but the functionality of it is all there, right? And are we gonna test this out? I know this doesn't stretch all the way my way, but we can kind of give them a glimpse as to how it actually performs.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just activate this real quick.
And one thing to keep note of as well is, even when you're dealing with a PC solution, a PC microphone, there's always some adjustability in the properties of the microphone. You can always change the sound pickup of it. You can boost it a little bit, reduce it. So there's some adjustability when it comes to this stuff. And even if it's a really cheap mic, you still have some leeway in that.
So I'm gonna wait on the thumbs up for our director here. Okay, so now you should be able to hear my audio coming from the headset. So it actually should be pretty clear audio. But what's gonna happen that you find with a lot of the gaming headsets is, once I talk really loud, sorry guys for the ear stuff, it actually probably sounds fine, but what happens in a lot of other headsets is, I'm gonna go ahead and take these off real quick.
You're gonna get us banned, dude.
What happens in a lot of gaming headsets is you kind of get some frequencies cut off, so you don't get as much audio clarity coming out of the gaming headsets.
It's not meant for you to yell out loud like, "Oh my God!" It's meant for you to talk in a normal voice. Well, but you know, there are some exceptions depending on the headset that you get, right? If the more baller the headset you have, usually the better the microphone. And you can yell. You can get some fancy League of Legends headsets where you can yell at your team,
Yeah.
"Stupid! Why are you feeding the team? I told you to bust monoburn." You know, stuff like that, and it'll sound. It won't clip. It'll sound good, but you know, it's loud to other people. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Also, if you're starting with a budget headset, you really won't be able to talk very, very loud into it because it'll get distorted right away. So
Yeah.
there's an echo. Director, there's an echo. The chat has spoken. Is it done? No echo? All right.
I think it was from using the gaming headset. We have a kind of a complex audio setup here because we're showing you so many different devices that are not meant to be used all together.
Man, it'll take some of these people like forever to try to figure out this setup, man. This
Yeah.
thing is like, you know what? Let's move on. I don't want our marketing team to listen to what I was about to say and then get me in trouble. Anyways, continue.
So next up we have for console gamers. And for console gamers, again, they kind of have some of the similar options for PC gamers, except they can't probably use their headsets because they're next to the consoles. It's not going to run through it's very complicated to get a headset on a console to go through to your PC to stream.
Yeah. You usually have to wind up buying some kind of.
You have to plug something in the controller and then split that out different ways.
It gets a little messy due to the way that they engineered the actual plugs, and they kind of wanted it to only have their branded stuff connect into the controllers and peripherals.
Yeah.
So it gets a little bit messy.
So what console gamers usually can start off with, of course, you can start off with the webcam mics and stuff like that, but what's really good for them is kind of starting into these USB microphones. So
yeah.
Let me go ahead and get this active real quick.
Can we product placement while we're waiting? Mr. Director, product placement. There you go. Shout outs to Blue. They're sending us the new beta stuff in the mail.
Put them on the hook, huh?
Which, by the way, I've been using Blue Yeti mics since 1996.
Hold on, let me look on their Wikipedia and find out when they started.
But to be honest, I've actually been using their microphones for a while, and they actually sound really, really great. Not only have I seen people use this just to run shows in their house, in like offices, I've seen productions actually take this, the pro version of this, and actually use it for a crowd mic, and the sound is actually really good. So, you know, it's meant to do a lot of stuff. For the price that you're paying, it's a very diverse mic. You have how many different pickup patterns? There's 5?
You pretty much have all of them. You have bidirectional, omnidirectional, cardioid.
You have all the pickup patterns. It's a great mic. It's very solid. Like, you know, I can't say enough about that microphone.
And the good thing too is that, of course, this is the Yeti. This is a bit of the higher end model, and they even have the Yeti Pro. But they also have the Snowball, which is fairly cheap. Also, there's a lot of Audio-Technica mics. Almost every major mic manufacturer has a USB mic that's within your price range. And these are great for just picking up really good high quality audio with a simple setup. They're almost always all just plug and play. You select it in XSplit as your microphone device. Super simple to set up.
It doesn't even come with a software CD, like an installation disc. When was the last time you saw an installation disc? You know?
When was the last time you had a computer with the CD drive?
Whenever I buy a motherboard, dude, it's like a requirement. You have to install drivers, you know? But yeah, I mean, it's really cool that.
Can you imagine in like 10 years, you're gonna show a kid a CD and be like, what the hell is that?
What is that? Is that one of those AOL discs people keep talking about?
Is this some kind of new kind of frisbee? It doesn't float very well.
Is that how you install NetZero? Are they still around? Damn, you guys probably don't even know that. You're too young.
So one last note for console gaming setups. I know I mentioned before that capturing from the controllers is very complicated, but this is around the period where maybe some external mixers will come into play, because I know a lot of people like to capture their party chat in addition to their voice audio. So once you start dealing with party chat, you are going to have to buy some adapters and do some routing, maybe having to use a mixer to capture the chat from your gameplay.
Yeah. This is where a mixer comes in handy, and it's like the best thing ever, because software-wise, you can do only so many things to reroute your audio, right, with an application. And there's only so much your hardware can do on a PC, but having an external solution where you can feed in all your audio adjust it how you want it, do everything on one console, and then just have one line going back into your computer and into your broadcasting software is like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. So next we're going to go into Skype and podcasts, and these are the kind of setups where you have multiple speakers talking. So for Skype podcasts, I mean, they're pretty simple. You're probably going to use another USB mic like this and just be talking to someone. But, you know, when you start doing podcasts and you start having guests, basically you're going to want to start using, like I said, the USB microphones, and you're also maybe going to want to start veering again into the mixer setups.
Because what's going to wind up happening if you're just using a USB solution, right? And this is again going back to software solutions and only being able to do so much before other factors start kicking in, like delays and all that stuff, right? Distortion. It's easier to do it on a mixer because basically what you're doing essentially is getting all the sound out of your computer, the person talking, your voice, background music, PC music, and then mixing it here. So when you send it back to the computer, your guest isn't gonna get his or her own audio. Sorry, I can't even talk. But this is where the mixer comes in handy, because most of the time when people do it on stream, they just load up Skype, for instance, and they set it up with their microphone and everything, but the guest or the other person will be able to hear their own voice, and sometimes it gets a little annoying and overbearing, like trying to talk to somebody. You'll be like, yeah, so what I was telling you is you got to do all that stuff on the other end, right? So it gets pretty annoying.
So going into our next topic is live talk shows. So for live talk shows, this is definitely the part where you're gonna need a mixer almost, because you're gonna have multiple people there, you're gonna have multiple people talking. You don't want to have one USB mixer that you gotta pass around, or even worse, when you try and connect multiple USB mixers, the setup gets kind of complicated within streaming software. It is doable, but you might have to use some digital mixers, and it can get confusing. This is a part where I personally believe this is where you really need a mixer.
Yes.
And then once you introduce that mixer, there's a couple different routes that you can take. So of course you can buy some nice high-end mics like this and plug them in. But I mean, if you already invested in the mixer, what you want to do is get some very inexpensive handheld mics. So let's go ahead and move this here. But I mean, here you have just your simple handheld mic. I don't even know what brand Cobalt is. I think most people know like the Shure, SM58s and stuff like that. But
this is the budget piece.
Yeah.
This is what you're gonna start off with.
And we have even a little simple styrofoam.
Little pop filter. And I think these, because we haven't really touched on price, right? But these will run you anywhere from around $25 to $40, somewhere in that price range, depending on where you get them from. So most of the time when you're trying to buy a microphone, I mean, what I would suggest personally for someone who's maybe starting out and wants to figure out what kind of mic he wants to get, what kind of mixer, go to a music store. You can probably find them in any place, wherever you're at. Hopefully you don't live in the desert and there's like nothing for 50 miles, but go to a music store, just have a look through them, check them out. Even if you don't know anything, it's always good to look at the hardware when you start getting invested in it, because then once you start reading the material, it'll make a lot more sense to you. So, and then you'll be able to see the variety of microphones that they have. You can also ask the salesperson there, like, what makes this microphone $1,000 and what makes this one $15, stuff like that. But yeah, this is like I think we all started with this microphone, to be honest. Yeah. I still have like 6 of them.
I mean, Mikey, if you can get this microphone active. Test. Hello. So yeah, I mean, of course, you can buy a stand for these, so the guests, if they're such divas that they can't hold their own microphone. But usually these are omnidirectional, so I mean, even if you have someone who is not well versed in how to hold a mic or use it, I mean, they can be lazy and talk like this for some reason. I don't know, but usually this microphone will pick up your voice no matter where you're holding it. I mean, I guess unless you're like this or something, but yeah, these are
they're
super easy to use.
They're easy to use microphones. The only drawback to having a budget microphone is most of the time, if you want to use this, say you want to have guests and you want to center it on the table, it's not going to do such a great job at picking up all the audio because it is a budget microphone and you might have to crank up your gain a little too loud. So what winds up happening is when there's low level audio coming from the people, you'll start picking up the background noise. So, I mean, it's a good mic to start if you're just gonna hold it up to yourself like this and be like, hi, welcome to blah, blah, blah. How was your day today? And then, you know, start doing this.
Yeah, my day was okay, thanks.
Wow, that was just a terrible interview. Come back at 11, check us out. NASCAR races will be on by then. You know, but it's a very practical, functional microphone that almost anybody can afford, hopefully. And you can buy them in bulk, so.
I mean, if you can't afford that, maybe you have some bad priorities going on in life.
You got to get a job.
So the last thing with talk show microphones is what we're wearing for this talk show, which is lavalier mics. Now these come in both analog, just plug into the mixer, and they also come like this with wireless transmission packs.
They come with a fancy receiver. Shout outs to Sennheiser. You know, they should shoot me an email. Shoot us an email because we would love to test their hardware with our software, make sure, you know, compatibility and all that stuff. So Sennheiser, you know, get at me at Split Media Labs. Yeah. But yeah, they're really good.
I mean, you know, this is like, you know, kind of like a demo. Look at this great partnership that we can have.
Look at that, Split Media Labs and Sennheiser. Yeah. Oh my God, what a beautiful combination. Yeah, there's these, what were you saying? There was these fancy microphones that we're using.
And then you can also use these, they have the kind that just plug straight in. These are great, but the only thing is that they're omnidirectional and they're very sensitive if you don't set them up properly. Yeah,
there's a lot of things that can go wrong in this situation here, right? Not only are they very sensitive to pickup, you have to manage the gain levels on this. And if you're at home or running a show in the office, for the most part, they work really, really great, right? Because you don't have to deal with a lot of ambient noise. But if you take them to like a show, a convention, something like that, where you're gonna have multiple productions going on, or you're running a production and then 2 booths over is like the Skate or Die booth. Why did I say that? It's an old Nintendo reference. But there's like a booth over there playing like thrash metal or whatever. Shout outs to thrash metal. I like all kinds of music. I ain't discriminating. If you take them to those kind of events where multiple productions will have the same type of receivers, you'll experience sometimes what'll happen is the frequencies will kind of get crossed.
Yeah.
And it's not fun.
Or if you're in a place where there's like a lot of people on cell phones and stuff, it's gonna get canceled out.
So it's sometimes what you have to wind up doing is spend the day before setup to try to find the right frequency that works. So if you're gonna use this, my recommendation, if you're gonna use something like this at an event, is try to get to the event early and test these as much as possible. That way you lock in the frequency that works the best for you and then set it and kind of forget it, all Ron Popeil style, you know? So, but yeah, these are great, except, you know, they'll cut off relatively easy if there's way too much noise. So you have to be mindful of the gain that you use with them, right? This is a little tiny microphone. It's not meant to go, you know, you're not trying to do kill switch engage on the mic. You know what I'm saying? It's like you gotta.
Yeah.
So yeah, be very careful when you go to shows, and make sure you have your adjustment set up. And these can be a little bit tricky, but as always with any piece of hardware that you're gonna get, whether it's a microphone, a mixer, a wireless receiver, USB mic, always do your homework. Always check out the documentation on them, so you can find out exactly what you're working with. So next we're going to our final subject with mics that you can purchase, which is esports. And I see in the chat there's some esports luminaries chatting, but there's Illuminatis.
Yeah, Illuminatis. So with esports, the most important thing is, of course, you have hosts, and hosts can use microphones like this, no problem, or they can use the lavalier mics. But when you have a production going on, you have, you know, commentators, casters, you need to be able to communicate with them, right? So, and they need to be able to communicate with you if you're producing or directing them. So that's why we have these headsets right here with the microphone. So this model here is probably like
It's the Audio-Technica BPHS1.
Yeah, this is like the.
This is like what started the revolution.
Yeah, almost everyone uses these when they're starting out because one, they're the cheapest ones that you can find.
My mom uses this to Skype me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, dude, I got her this fancy technology, dude. These are, well, all kidding aside, these headsets basically helped a lot of content creators like ourselves, and when we go out and do all these productions, these are like the go-to headsets. Their cost has been the same throughout the years, around $150. Sometimes they go a little bit up if you really can't find them online, so they'll go up to like $200. For most part, you can get them for like $150 to $200, somewhere in that price range. They work really, really well. They're pretty durable, unless your talents are like divas and they just take them off and do whatever they want with them. Then you just got to put down your hand on that talent.
Hey, Mondo, you don't have flashbacks.
But they're very great. It's a very great headset to have.
So if we can get these active right here. So the cool thing with these is, aside from them being pretty cheap, they're not that bad. So one of the best things about these is, especially when you're in big esports events, there's a crowd going on, there's game sound, there's lots of noise. You don't want too much of that coming through through your commentator. You basically want to be able to hear them, and you don't want to be overpowered by the crowd or background noise. So these are pretty good with the pattern that they have of just getting the voice and not getting too much of the background stuff. I mean, you can get the background stuff if you want using other microphones placed around, but these are really good just avoiding all that sound, and they sound pretty good too.
Yeah, they're just basically going to pick up everything that comes out of your mouth. And they'll pick up. I'm talking about the microphone, man. They're really great headsets. They won't pick up too much ambient noise unless you really crank up the gain adjustments on your mixers. So it's a good headset. There's obviously more expensive ones and some that are just, you know, a little bit better, but these are like the go-to headsets, and like 90% of productions.
In fact, of course, basically what you're doing when you're getting more and more expensive is basically getting better versions of this. So I think if our director can toss us the microphones that are right behind him.
Oh yeah, let's show him the step up from the.
Let's show him what'll really get us killed if we break these, because
yeah, this will. Not only are we fired, we're going to jail.
Someone might come attack us for these particular headsets.
Yeah,
they may or may not.
That guy.
Yeah, belong to us.
That guy will get so upset if we do anything with these. I mean, I won't be here. I'm taking the leave of absence when that happens, just so I can say I wasn't here. But look at these things. These are pretty good.
So basically, what you get out of these, of course, a lot more comfort.
Yes.
You can wear these for a lot longer time, and the microphone pickup is a lot better. So that's basically what you're going to be doing when you get better and better headsets.
Can you put this on? Just be the model, man. Just like show him off, you know. Can we get like a close up of him, like showing it off or something? Act like you can be Madden and Mikey put on the whiteboard overlay and then draw something and he'll commentate. Just we do have a whiteboard overlay, by the way. You can comment and stuff on live. So, anyways, but yeah, this is a really good pair of headset, although they're not as affordable as the Audio-Technicas.
Yeah.
And if you break this, you're gonna pay. Which brings me to another thing is because Louis brought up the ear pads. You can actually get aftermarket ear pads for the Audio-Technicas, but they can be a little bit harder to find and kind of a little bit more expensive. From the last time I saw them on Amazon, I think the aftermarket ones were about $40 for a pair. So you're not stuck with the pads that come stock with the headset. So there is an option for you if you want to get aftermarket ones, because these will hurt. I have sat there at times and worn this headset for over 20 hours. I am not kidding you, for one of our events. And I was so angry, I wanted to hurt somebody so bad when I took this off. You try wearing this headset for 20 hours and tell me you don't want to hurt somebody.
I can't last 4 hours. I have to have constant get these off me.
Yeah, man. They can be pretty brutal. But yeah, make sure you take breaks. Don't wear them if you're gonna wear them for a long
take
time.
breaks.
Yeah, just take them off at least every hour. I recommend, because they can hurt your ears pretty bad.
Have a little notifier to walk around for a little bit every hour. So that's pretty much picking the right microphone. Hopefully we have given you some good tips and good info, and it'll help you with your decision if you don't know. But at this part of the show, we're going to kind of turn it over to our audience, both in the live stream and also on social media. So we had some questions that...
Can we make some slight adjustments to those comments that you just made? Because based on the people that I see in the chat, can we exclude like 3 of them from asking any questions? One of them's like really into Mountain Dew, and I don't trust him. The other guy keeps, sending me DMs that are not very nice. So can we exclude those? But anyways, yes, we'll take some questions from the chat.
they don't know if we can see the questions or
not.
Oh,
that's true. But this is behind the stream, so if I wasn't telling you, you wouldn't know. But this is what goes on sometimes. When people are running productions, they selectively pick stuff in the chat, and they ignore the rest of the stuff. I choose to ignore 2 people in the chat. I can't ignore you guys. It's the chat, man. Anyways, let's go to the questions.
Yeah, if the mods want to ban someone named Dunzo, Monzo, or similar type.
Director, ban that fool from the channel.
So anyway, I guess let's go to our first Twitter question. What can be done to help with background noise using a snowball? So with this one, there's actually a setting that can really help you with fixing this. So the snowball on the back has 3 switches, 1, 2, 3. So the middle switch, the number 2 switch, makes the snowball into a cardioid pattern, but also it does a minus 10 dB pad, which kind of reduces the volume a bit. So I don't know your situation, but what maybe is likely happening is you may have set it to omnidirectional, so now it's catching all this background noise. So switching it to cardioid would help, but also the minus 10 dB pad would reduce the sensitivity on the snowball microphone, so you're not picking up so much audio, because when you have a more sensitive mic, more noise comes in.
Yep. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there's 3 versions of the snowball, right?
Yeah, I mean...
I think there's 3 versions. And one of them doesn't have all the options that all the rest of them do. I would have to look into that, but I've only owned
There's like a snowball and a snowball ice and different kinds.
Always check documentation,
Snowball
kids.
Studio. There you go. So next question from Twitter.
Oh, look, it pops up here. This guy's doing a good job today. Oh, wow, man, using that FARP tech. Go.
Which type of mic would you recommend to amateurs starting to stream on Twitch? Condenser or dynamic mic, and why? Pretty much you want to start with, this basically distills like condenser mic or dynamic mic, and the honest truth is both of them are really good mics. But in terms of simplicity, and if you're an amateur, you definitely maybe want to start with a dynamic mic. One, it's most likely going to be the cheaper level of mics. 2, you probably don't have to worry about things like phantom power. And basically with condenser mics, you kind of have to learn it. You have to learn how the mic works and figure it out to get really good audio. Whereas dynamic mic, you can probably get decent mic after just kind of messing with it for a little bit. Any comments, Mondo? Or?
No, man, you're doing a good job. I like this guy. He's okay.
So I guess next question.
Man, I can just sit here and look pretty. I'll be the model, dude. You'll be like, can I just wear the headset?
Just fiddle with things. So Scott Delphia, hopefully I didn't butcher that, says XLR, USB, virtual mixer, or tangible. Best pro setups on a budget, best mic stands, and it gets a little bit cut off, but pretty much, again, this is really just in terms of preference and budget. I think USB mics, like we talked about, the Blue mic, the Razer Siren, the Audio Technica mics, all these brands even have both XLR and USB versions of their microphones. And they all work pretty well. They work about the same no matter what you use. Now, if you go the XLR route, that's when you need multiple mics. If you go USB, that's maybe when you just need single mics.
If you go mixer, XLR, obviously you're gonna have more versatility in your setup, right? Because there's only so much you can do with a USB microphone. So if you're gonna spend the money on a mixer and an XLR mic, just do your research beforehand. What is it that you want out of those components in the long run? Don't just buy them for right now, because a lot of people, what they wind up doing is they'll buy a little like a 802 mixer and like a couple of microphones, and then 2 months down the line they're like, oh man, I wish I would have saved up a little bit more and bought this mixer with these sub-channel options and FX and stuff like that. So USB mic, it's a good solution if you're just going to do something at home, if you're casting like a game like 5 times a week or something like that, and it's just you and nobody really else. But if you want to have more versatility in your stream and your production, obviously you want to go the mixer route, right? The drawback is that it can be a lot more expensive than just a USB mic. But the plus side of it is you can do so many things audio-wise with a mixer that you can't just do with software mixing. So
I guess to switch from taking a question from the chat, so Stream Overlay Pro, who actually is a SML employee, asked, do you really need a compressor for your microphones?
who said that?
A Stream Overlay Pro.
Oh yeah. Where's this question?
It's a little bit up, but
okay. Can we not answer?
I mean, I feel like you can use our internal company chat for such questions. But to answer his question, it depends on your voice. So what a compressor is basically designed to do, right, is to, like it says, compress. Instead of having such high frequencies and low frequencies, which can be kind of jarring for someone to hear, what the compressor does is helps you kind of mush these together to leave a little more pleasant listening experience. So yeah, if you're someone who's gonna be like just kind of talking around the same volume of voice and keeps it very calm and steady, or not calm and steady, but I mean if you keep it the same volume of voice, then yeah, you probably don't need a compressor. But if you're gonna be like, hey, what's going on, and then like then yeah, maybe you should use a compressor so you don't freaking rip your headphones, headphones.
I think you woke up the cameraman with that one. And why is this? I know all these people. Why are they here? Why is this guy asking, where is he at? Where's NorCal is free 26? How do we mic up a shake weight for maximum ambient sound? Like, he already knows the answer to this. He helped with that one. Anyways.
So let's go to our next social media question. So Air Juggle, do you know Air Juggle?
Huh? Where?
I feel like we would know.
Where is it? Oh no.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. He looks familiar. He's got a Twitch shirt.
So
shout out to Twitch.
So what is the best way to reduce background ambient noise when using an AT2020 XLR mic, or just in general? I mean, just some tips on the mic. If you're getting too much background noise, maybe turn down the gain a little bit. That is, I believe, a cardioid mic, so make sure that the pattern, like, on the blue mic, they're pretty helpful. They actually have the blue logo, so that lets you know that's the direction that you point at you. So just make sure you're kind of putting it in that pattern. And then just try and make sure that you don't have like a fan blowing at your microphone, or, just any kind of background noises. Keep it calm. If you have like a little sibling, be like, hey, shut up, I'm streaming,
Yeah, it's all got to do with the gain. Some people wind up cranking it up way too high, and they're like, why am I experiencing all this noise in the background when I'm not talking? And that's just because it's silent, right? So it just picks up. You'll get a lot of white noise, some staticky noise, but that's the function of the mic, because you probably have plus 30 decibels on it extra going to the microphone. But there's always you can always go into the options of your microphone and have some sort of adjustability there to tone it down a little bit. It's like if you had this mic and it was about this far from you, right? Like arm's length. If you set the gain too high, yeah, you're gonna have to crank it up to pick up my voice properly, right? Even if it's an omnidirectional microphone. But tone it down a little bit, bring it closer to yourself. That kind of eliminates a lot of the ambient noise right there.
I think my favorite thing is that we have a bot, and someone figured out that one of the commands, that it's bringing up brackets from
an
old stream.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway,
Can
next question for social media.
Can we fire those guys?
Yeah. For presentations in a poor audio environment, echoes, background noise, shotgun microphone, lapel mic, and also again it's cut off. We're gonna have to do a fix to this. So, let me see if I can pull up the question here.
Back from the future, these fools are just I mean, they're doing the typical chat stuff.
Okay, so he basically is asking what's the best microphone if you have a lot of background noise.
Yeah.
And pretty much out of those mic choices, you're probably gonna want to stick with either the shotgun mic, or perhaps like a headset with like a cardioid pattern like we have here. Mainly because they won't be picking up that audio coming all over the place that is the background noise, So that's really the recommendation for that.
Can we put it on Arista chat? Sub mode only.
We don't have subs.
Damn.
We can do followers only. All right. So next question.
Bot fights.
How can I hear myself through a headset? Sometimes it's tough wearing an over-the-ear headset with a mic and hear myself talk. So this is a good question. So
Wait, he says, how can I hear myself and hear myself? What?
I mean, let's not judge our users.
I mean, I'm just a little confused. So, I mean, if you're wearing the headset, if you're using on
So what I feel he's asking is if you have like a USB headset, right?
Okay.
And if you've added it as a microphone in XSplit, maybe you're not in like a team chat or something, right? How do you hear yourself talking?
Yeah. That's
So-
easy. That's easy.
If we can, there's two simple solutions for this. Maybe I actually have it wrong, but you can let me know here. So we can cut over to the computer real quick. We can show them how to do this.
I don't see it. Oh, there we go.
So the first way, you can use the audio preview, and you can set that, and then you'll basically hear all the audio that XSplit produces. The only problem with this is that if your headset is also your system sound device, then that's not going to work.
Nope.
The other way to do this is if you just go into your...
There you go. This is actually the more simplistic way to do it.
And let's pretend this is our headset, right? You go to properties, you go to listen to this device, and now you'll be able to hear the microphone through your headset. The only trick is that in XSplit, you're not going to want to add a microphone source because it's coming through your playback device now. You just want to have a system sound device, and that's it.
And then sometimes, depending on the microphone, there can be a slight delay to it. So software solutions. Like I said, you have software solutions, and there's tons of them out there, but sometimes they're not the most optimal. Next question.
What's the best mic? So we kind of answered this in the episode, but basically, if you're streaming on an Xbox and you have a PC that you're going to capture from, you can use the USB Blue microphone solution, a gaming headset hooked up to your computer. You can use a mixer solution. That all kind of works for the gaming setup. Next question. When using the Blue Yeti Pro, should one use a mixer? So it depends on what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
If you're just streaming yourself, no, just use the USB setup.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, a mixer is not really necessary unless you're trying to do more dynamic things with your audio setup, right? So just hook it up to your computer and use it. You can stream, have a chat, cover Celine Dion songs if you want, take Skype calls and stuff like that. It's, like I said, it's a very dynamic microphone. You can do talk shows with it and everything. But if you want to get to start adding multiple microphones into it and injecting different sound into your PC so you can get it into your casting software, then you'd probably want to go with a mixer. But for the most part, USB solution is fine if you have a very simple stream. Like if you're just streaming your gameplay or just talking on Skype with one person, or USB. Only go mixer if you want to make crazier stuff happen with your sound, and then go with a mixer.
So next question. Oh, okay. First mic, USB based or XL or mixer, any particular sections. So yeah, if you're trying to add effects to your audio, Me personally, in my opinion, I think you should go with the external mic with the mixer, mainly because it's a lot easier to hook up effects through like output sources. Like a lot of mixers have effects built into them. You can buy those boxes that'll output from the mixer into the box, add the effect into your computer. The reason why is because if you try and use the audio effects through like VSTs or something on your computer, it can be really hard to get the software that runs the audio effects into the streaming software. So you save a lot of headache if you just do it outside and then put it inside the computer.
Not only that, sometimes there's just headaches with getting the programs to work properly.
Yeah.
So external solution for effects is always the best way to go. So it's less taxing on your system, although not the most cost-effective method, but actually the best method for you that'll be pretty spot on and not really give you so many problems, you know, not like software-based. So external all the way when it comes to FX, man. You can stack FX upon FX when you get that, you know, when you get that good, man. And run some little Inception thing going on there with your mixers.
Next question.
I'm not looking at this chat anymore, man. These fools.
So bad. Let's assume I would rather have like just troll memes the whole way. Let's assume you had $200 to spend on upgrades to your mic setup. How would you get the most value from that? I kind of think that if you have $200 and you're just starting out, you're using the free mics or something like that, maybe purchasing like the USB microphones, like the Blue or something like that, or you purchasing one of these headsets, which we already said are about 150, $200. Those are going to give you the most bang for your buck right there.
It kind of depends on what you already have. So if you're just asking for a microphone solution for your PC, the Blue microphones are going to be really good because you can do so many things with them, right? Like we've covered it so many times already. There's just so many options for it. You could hook it up to your PC. It also has a monitor out. You can hook up your headsets to it. The cameraman is asleep, but it's okay. It has a monitor out, so you can plug in your headsets. Let's turn it this way. Cameraman's coming.
Cameraman's coming alive. Hey man, he's union, dude. He's gotta take his breaks every hour.
You can plug in your headphones here, so you can monitor all of the audio from your system. You know, you have gain controls, you have patterns. There's so much adjustability with this microphone. It's pretty ridiculous for the price. So if you're just looking to get one microphone that's pretty diverse, you can go with the Blue, right? You can even go with the Blue Yeti Pro. How much is that? How much more is it from the regular Blue?
It's about like $200.
So,
or $150 or more.
It'd be a little bit more expensive because the Blue Pro actually has an XLR in it as well, right?
Yeah.
So this one, if you look at it here, you actually have a mount for a bass that you can use. So if you want to put this like on a stand, you can definitely mount it on a stand. You don't have to get the spider thing. What's it called again? Damn.
The shock mount.
There you go, shock mount. So I mean, there's a lot of options with this microphone, right? And if you get the Blue Yeti Pro that comes with the XLR port, you can later on, when you want to invest in a mixer, you have the capability of using that mic with your mixer as well. So it's a really good upgrade, in my opinion.
Next question. Ray Konami at
Oh
Evo.
man!
God damn it!
How did this one get in here? I know this fool.
I'm asking for a friend, Seglia. What kind of mics are used for mixing crowd and commentators, and how do you balance the two?
Oh man, can we Skype in Seg and have him answer this? Let's see how good he is at this.
So, I mean, basically, you can use any mic for the crowd, right? You can use shotgun mics, you can use omnidirectional. It really depends how much of the crowd you want. So maybe you want like a directional mic, like a shotgun mic going towards the crowd, because maybe you don't want all the echo and reverb coming from the top of a stadium or a big hall, or you don't want all the game sound coming through. So yeah, using a shotgun mic and routing those to the mixer, and then just making sure that you mix it kind of constantly, that it doesn't start overpowering the commentators, is probably the best way to
Yeah, exactly. Usually shotgun, because you want everything coming directly off of the microphone. In most scenarios, what they wind up doing is putting the microphone somewhere just below the stage. So if you use something like an omnidirectional, something that has a bigger pickup pattern in the back, what'll wind up happening is, like Lewis said, is you'll get all that stage noise that comes into the microphone, and it'll just be a little bit more of a headache for you to fine tune it where you're just getting the crowd and trying to separate the crowd from the background ambient noise. So shotgun is the best way to go in my opinion, because it eliminates everything in the back.
Next question.
Why is the Blue Yeti not? Oh wait, sorry, wrong. They actually make a blue one.
So another friend of the FGC,
Oh man.
one of the twins that helps out at many events. I have a room AC unit because it's hot outside. Well, okay.
Why is he a noobs?
How do I filter out my mic to pick up just my voice and less background noise? So you can't really filter out noise. All you can do is reduce the amount of noise going into your microphone, right?
Mute the mic.
You can also mute the mic. But yeah, so pretty much, again, like we had said before, make sure you have a mic that's a cardioid. Make sure the pattern's pointing towards you.
Yeah.
Try not to have the gain so high that it doesn't pick up all the background noise. And if you have like the AC fan blowing at you because you're so hot, maybe try to get the fan going away from you and not blowing into yourself, right? Yeah. Next question.
By the way, this is just the beginning of the series of the video, so we're not going to go too crazy in depth. Obviously, on a mixer like this, we can talk about this for like 10 hours straight because there's just so much that you can do with this. So we're just kind of, skimming off of the top and giving you kind of a basic rundown of all this stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that you can use. Step downs, compressors, like just a ton,
limiters,
converters. Like, there's so much stuff that you can use, right?
Flip flops, shim shams,
Yeah.
lollywops.
All that stuff, man. All the good stuff. So yeah, this is just gonna be the beginning, covering some of the basics, right?
What is a quick and easy way to set up mic compression for streaming?
Spencer.
So I guess a quick and easy way is you can either buy a mixer that has compression settings or a compressor built into it, or you can actually just buy an external compression device. Again, I wouldn't recommend getting a software compressor because you're going to run into the same issues that we've explained, which is basically it's going to be hard to get whatever audio that you've done in that software solution into your streaming software. So definitely go for a mixer or a actual rack mount compressor or external compressor to get that effect with your microphone.
I can't look at this chat, man. They want us to show them the touch mix.
Next question. The touch mix is not here. It's been sent to the what's that place? Upside Down World from Stranger Things.
It was sent to the Upside Down Castle and Symphony of the Night, man. I don't know.
What would you recommend for a two-person stream, which we sit at the same desk and one person is more prone to loud bursts?
Move the mic away. That's kind of like the simple solution, depending on your microphone. of course.
So the best way to do it is each person has their own microphone.
Yeah.
You have different audio and gain settings for them. Try not to hopefully be too close to each other. If you want to be fancy, yeah, you can buy a compressor. This is basically what it's made for, so that when this guy gets too loud, it keeps it still at a similar level. But yeah, that's mainly the solution for that. Any?
No, man, you're doing a great job.
Okay. All right. Next question.
Oh,
Thoughts
man.
on Yeti versus AT mics? Any mixer recommendations to pair with the AT mic 2020? That matters. So they're both great mics. We're not gonna say one is better than the other because one doesn't pay us more than the other.
They're both fantastic microphones that you can use in any application. I just want to make that clear. Shout outs to both of them. But this guy's rich. His name is Kid Rich. He's got money. He can buy both.
Yeah, you can buy both. No problem. In terms of mixer, there's really no preference. I mean, in fact, maybe you don't. If you're Kid Rich, maybe you don't want to buy a mixer. You want to buy like a nice mic preamp to get that crispy tube filter sound. I don't know. But yeah, any mixer is gonna work, man. That's it. Next question.
Come on, man, keep going. I got kids to feed, man.
What good quality microphone is easy to set up with XSplit or has the best compatibility with the program? They all work with XSplit, and they're all easy to set up.
Whoa, calm down. Calm down.
I'm
Lewis.
sorry. You know what? I should be.
Don't look at the chat.
I should be a lot more calm. It's
Yes.
Jessie curious. Jessie is just curious.
We got to be more professional.
More professionally.
Anyways, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, you know, pretty much if it plugs into the microphone port or if it connects via USB, you're always going to see it in the microphone section of the audio settings. If we can go ahead and go over to the computer real quick.
Director?
Just click on this, and under the microphone section, as long as you click the mic there, it's fine. It's ready to go. Super easy to set up. But yeah, that's the best way to set up your microphones there. Whoop.
What is he doing?
So little goof there, little gap.
Next question.
Are there any good mics you would recommend to broke students? Yeah.
99-cent store only.
The dumpster somewhere.
Dollar Tree. But no, I mean, if you really...
For us padres.
Yeah, damn. If you're really on a budget, you can just go to any like Target, Best Buy, or whatever electronics store near you. And you can pick up like the most basic desktop microphone for like $3 to $7. So.
And you know, we kind of covered it earlier too. Like your webcam, you have a built-in mic. They all work. Yeah. And if you're a broke student, you should spend money on your education and not on
exactly. If you're that limited on budget, focus on the books.
All right, next question.
There's more? Jeez.
Blue Yeti or sound mixer with mics, talk show format for 2 people.
Wait, didn't we answer this already?
No, this is a new one. I believe this is Hans Alt, so I think he's trying to troll us with this. But this again is really depends on your budget. So if you don't have a big budget, it's definitely cheaper to just buy the Blue Yeti, set it to the bi-directional pattern, and then just have the Yeti in the middle of you while you and your guests talk. If you have a little bit more budget, then you definitely get more flexibility and control, and I guess even more comfort when you're doing this. If you buy a sound mixer and 2 microphones that they can either hold in their hand or have a headset.
The more money you got, the better the presentation.
Yes. Next question. Any DIY idea that you know how to prevent background noises and echoes on a condenser microphone? Wow, this really dug deep.
That's a good one.
Is
Is he a user of XSplit? I want to give him a code. It's pretty good.
Well, spoiler alert, actually, all these people that gave us questions may or may not be getting codes.
Oh, so. There you go, man. All right.
Yeah, I mean, background noises, again, we kind of covered this, you know, make sure the pattern is pointed towards you, reduce background audio, don't have the gain too high. Echoes is a little bit different, so echoes can happen based on the acoustics of your room.
Yep.
So some things you can do is, you know, throw some towels or some tarps around you to kind of reduce the area that the sound can bounce off of. You know, there's the kind of old school egg cartons.
It just depends on the environment that you're in, right? So how big is the room? How big are you talking about? Do you have to like put egg cartons or foam all over the room this big? Like, it really depends on the environment that you're in. And you know, there's a lot of techniques out there that that you can use to mitigate some of the echoing. Just it really depends on your environment, to be honest. But yeah, you can use foam, you can use egg cartons. That's like a really old trick from, you know, the 70s. I don't know if people still use that, but you know, there's also these what are these portable, what are they called? It's basically like a little portable wall, right? That's supposed to block audio, but it don't really work how people think they work, right? Most people think that, and I forgot what that damn thing is called. It's like a little portable sound booth, right? Where it goes around your microphone like so. And people think that it's supposed to block the audio coming into the microphone, but it's not. It's supposed to block your audio from going out and then bouncing back in. So you'll still get some background noise and stuff like that. So I gotta get one of those just so I can, you know, test it out and stuff like that. But
all right, sir, next question.
Soundproof your room. Use some Dynomat. There you go. But wait, don't use Dynomat. That stuff is expensive.
What would you suggest would be better for streaming, the Blue Yeti microphone or the new Razer mic?
Dude, wait, is that him?
No. He was asking someone else. But
Oh, okay.
so basically, yeah, same thing. Like they're both great mics. They're both USB mics. You're really gonna get great performance out of both of them. Can't really say which one I prefer over the other in this case.
They're both equally.
Yeah, they're both the same thing.
They're both baller, man.
So we actually had a tweet that came in while we were live. So if we can pop this one up next, I believe this is our last question.
Oh man, is this the troll one? Okay.
If given a choice, USB mic or XLR into mixer, what would you choose? Does USB effects sync? So way back in maybe the early 2000s, you could run out of USB bandwidth and then there would be a desync. But now, I mean, basically, if you plug it in via analog through mic in jack, or if you plug it in through USB, they're not going to be desynced. Which the desync may happen depending on like capture cards and stuff like that. So if you have like a USB 2 capture card, it's going to be the video is going to be delayed compared to the audio. So that's when you have to worry about that. But if you don't, like a USB 3 or a PCIe card, they're all going to be pretty much synced together with maybe like just milliseconds of adjustment that you have to do.
It's hard to max out the bandwidth on your buses unless you're doing like some really crazy stuff, like have 5 capture cards hooked up to it, and like USB microphones and USB cameras and stuff like that. That's when you might experience it. That, or you're running an old Pentium 2 or something like that, you know? But for the most part, just plug and play, it works fine.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all the chat questions and the social media questions. So thanks everyone for sending them in. Make sure to be on the lookout and follow us on twitter.com/XSplit, Instagram.com/XSplit, YouTube.com/XSplit, Mixer.com/XSplit, Twitch.com/XSplit, Player.me.com/ I almost had it. Player.me/XSplit, and tons of other social media, but pretty much mainly on Twitter. You can ask us questions.
Director, did he say Facebook?
Facebook.com/XSplit.
Okay, thank you. Follow us on our social media where
Periscope.tv/XSplit.
We're all over the place, man. Everywhere and anywhere. We're a part of your life now, whether you like it or not. No takebacks. Sorry, doesn't work.
But yeah, pretty much we'll announce when the next show is going to be coming and the topic, and you can ask questions for that.
It's gonna vary. We're gonna make shows specifically talking about certain aspects of production, right? And what can be useful to you guys. So hopefully you guys keep tuning in, and we can continue to bring these shows to you. They're not really scripted. We kind of yes, kind of no. That's why you get to talk however we like, but. Yeah, we look forward to bringing you guys more shows like this, so you guys can tune in, and hopefully we bring you some good information on a variety of hardware that you guys can possibly incorporate to your productions and your streams, and help you guys do a little bit better, find out newer information that you guys didn't know before. So.
Yeah, I definitely want to say thanks to the viewers on YouTube Live, the viewers on Twitch, the viewers on Mixer, and the viewers on Periscope.
The viewers I hosted.
And the viewers on Facebook. I don't know if we had any questions from Facebook, just asking our director. Nope.
Yeah, we are streaming to that. Man, we're streaming to like all over the place.
So this VOD will be up on our YouTube and Twitch. And yeah, thanks for joining us again. My name is Louis, aka Offcast. You can follow me on player.me/Offcast.
You know what? Don't follow me. Follow at XSplit. I need to meet my quota, or else they're gonna get mad at me. So follow XSplit. Don't follow me. This doesn't count as work hours rendered. So if you're planning, follow XSplit.com. Forget about my Twitter, man. But if you want to, at iBattlegrounds. iBattlegrounds everything.
I hope that Player Me account exists, or else someone's poaching.
No, I already got it. Player.me. You can find us. Follow XSplit. That's how you guys are gonna find out what new hotness is coming to the software. That's how you're gonna find out what new hotness we're gonna be teaching you about in the future, so you can go out there and produce these bomb baller events and get paid all kinds of esports money. Unlike us, we can't even afford a taco anymore. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Follow us at XSplit.
Blow me up, Tom. Peace out, director.
We'll catch you next time.